And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brendan Lepal and you're watching News at 10. In our top stories tonight, no toll hike for 4 highways in Klang Valley. Private partnerships needed for access to precision medicine. Thanks for your company. Now, the toll rates on highways operated by 4 highway concessionaires in the Klang Valley will not be raised and will remain unchanged until the end of their concession period with the restructuring of the 4 concession companies. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the restructuring was implemented in line with the government's main principle and objective, which was to alleviate the burden of Keluarga Malaysia, Malaysian families, and does not involve financial implications to the government. In a statement today, he said the savings from the move can be utilized for the country's infrastructure development program and other facilities that need to be given priority for the well-being of Keluarga Malaysia. The Prime Minister said the decision was made after a detailed study covering all aspects, namely the burden on highway users, the government's obligations in line with the concession agreement, as well as the government's financial burden. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the government had agreed to the proposed restructuring of companies, namely Kasih Sendirian Berhad, which manages Shah Alam Expressway, Kasih, Syarikat Mengurus Air Banjir dan Terowong Sendirian Berhad, which manages the stormwater management and road tunnel, SMART, Sistem Penyuraian Trafik KL Barat Sendirian Berhad, which manages Kuala Lumpur Traffic Dispersal Scheme, Sprint Expressway, and Lingkaran Trans Kota Sendirian Berhad, which manages Damansara Puchong LDP Expressway. The Prime Minister said the restructuring of the 4 companies was expected to reduce compensation costs and enable the government to save at least 4.3 billion ringgit in toll subsidies. The government will save 4.3 billion ringgit in a takeover of 4 major highway concessions. According to Senior Works Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, the takeover by Amanat Lebuh Raya Rakyat Berhad ALR would effectively end toll hikes involving the Kasih, LDP and Sprint highways. He said under the previous model, the government would have to pay the concessionaires about 6 billion ringgit. As such, he said the cabinet requested a review.
Kerajaan juga telah memastikan bahawa ALR perlu menyerap kesemua kaki tangan sedia ada yang sedang berkhidmat di bawah keempat-empat syarikat konsesi berkaitan. Dengan itu, tiada isu pembuangan pekerja berhubung cadangan penstrukturan ini.
Briefing reporters today, he said under the concept Kasih Sendirian Berhad, Kasih, Lingkaran Trans Kota Sendirian Berhad, LDP, Sistem Penyuraian Trafik KL Barat Sendirian Berhad, Sprint, and Syarikat Mengurus Air Banjir dan Terowong Sendirian Berhad, SMART, will come under the management of ALR. Datuk Seri Fadilah said there will no longer be toll hikes involving these highways, adding that the previous agreement allowed the companies to call for a toll review every 5 to 7 years. The Health Ministry, MOH, has called for more private partnerships and collaborations with government to ensure Malaysians, especially cancer patients, have access to precision medicine. According to Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, it is impossible to expect the government to offer all cancer patients such treatment options because it would simply cost more.
49,000 people in Malaysia were estimated to be newly diagnosed with cancer in 2020, and this is expected to rise to more than 66,000 annually by 2030. In 2020, we released findings from the National Cancer Registry report. The report showed that people with lung and liver cancers had a 5-year relative survival rate of only 11 and 12.8% respectively.
The minister said this after witnessing a precision medicine collaboration signing ceremony between Prudential Malaysia, AstraZeneca and Pantai Premier Pathology. Explaining on the collaboration, Khairi said the initiative was in line with the government's effort in preparing a white paper on reforming the country's health system for tabling in Parliament. He also hoped many insurance companies would come forward to join the initiative to ensure the best quality care and outcomes for cancer patients in this country. The Kelantan Police will monitor firecracker and fireworks selling activities at Ramadan bazaars, markets and shopping malls to ensure no trader is secretly selling banned firecrackers and fireworks. State Police Chief Datuk Shafian Mahmad said to date, only two types of fireworks, namely Happy Boom and Pop Pop, were allowed for sale for Eid al-Fitri, provided the traders complied with the regulations set. He said although there were traders selling permitted firecrackers and fireworks, it was not impossible that they were also selling unapproved items under the counter for more profits.
Kita di bawah akta bahan-bahan letupan, semua dah ada termaktub. Saya rasa dia orang pun tahu mereka ni tak boleh, cuma kadang-kadang sifat orang berniaga ni dia orang kata apa, sembunyi-sembunyi. Tapi jangan sembunyi daripada polis. Polis ni ada kaedah dia. Ada cara dia untuk kita tangani. Dan saya harap OCCI yang baru ni akan turun padang untuk memantau semua tempat.
He said this to reporters at the Kelantan Police Contingent Headquarters in Kota Baru today. In a related development, Datuk Shafian said all district police heads in Pasir Mas, Tumpat, Tanah Merah and Jeli on the Malaysia-Thailand border had been directed to act against attempts to smuggle in firecrackers. Earlier, Datuk Shafian witnessed the handing over of duties of the heads of the Special Branch, CID, Commercial CID and Logistics Department of Kelantan Police. A total of 19 officers were promoted and transferred, including SAC Salim Yob, who is now the Kelantan Special Branch Chief, and Datuk Nur Yazid Idris, who is the new State CID Chief. Now, in other news, couples who are planning to tie the knot are also advised to use proper channels set by local religious authorities and not use the service of Thailand marriage syndicates. This is to avoid them from facing various issues and problems in the future. As such, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Religious Affairs, Dato' Idris Ahmad, has urged state religious authorities to eradicate services of Thai marriage syndicates and agents, which was found to be actively promoted on social media following the reopening of national border.
Ini adalah merupakan bidang kuasa pihak kerajaan negeri atau pihak berkuasa agama negeri yang ada undang-undang tersendiri. Kadang-kadang ada setengah negeri itu dia longgarkan, setengah negeri yang ada ambil tindakan. Itu kita harapkan pihak berkuasa agama negeri ini dapat mengambil tindakan. Tapi yang paling pentingnya waktu mereka nak buat benda-benda macam ni, mereka kena fikir untuk jangka panjang lah.
Dato' Idris was met after launching the Al-Ikhlas Wakaf Fund initiative in Kuala Lumpur today. Previously, the media reported that the advertisement on Thailand marriage syndicates resurfaced on social media, offering 50,000 ringgit marriage service package for those who wish to elope or be in polygamous marriage without the consent of their first wife. Yet to come, KPDN HEP to double price monitoring activities at Ramadan bazaars. Stay with us. But first, King Salman Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia is donating 46,000 copies of Al-Quran with Malay translation to mosques and Islamic non-governmental organizations nationwide in conjunction with Ramadan this year. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Semasa in a posting on Facebook today said the King, who is the guardian of the two holy mosques, is also donating 57 tons of dates for distribution to all Malaysians in conjunction with the holy month. According to Datuk Seri Sabri, the gifts, especially Al-Quran with Malay translation, is a symbol of a very special friendship between Malaysia and Saudi Arabia, especially with Malaysia's aspiration to uplift the status of the Malay language as an ASEAN language. The Premier also expressed his heartfelt thanks to King Salman Abdulaziz Al Saud and the government of Saudi Arabia for the gifts, while expressing hope that the existing diplomatic ties between the two countries will continue to be maintained and strengthened. The gifts from King Salman were presented by the Saudi Arabian ambassador to Malaysia, Dr. Mahmud Hussein Said Khatan, at the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya today. Prices of goods and food sold at Ramadan bazaars will continue to be monitored by the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDN HEP. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Semasa Yaakob admitted that currently there are no guidelines to control these prices, but constant spot checks can be done to prevent price hoarding.
Setakat ini tidak ada, saya difahamkan. Tapi kita serah kepada KPDN HEP lah, bagaimana mereka nak kawal. Yang disebut oleh Datuk Seri Alex malam, kalau nampaknya harga tu terlalu melampau, mungkin mereka akan menasihatkan ataupun mengambil tindakan. Tapi ini kuasa KPDN HEP, saya serahkan kepada KPDN. Ya, yang penting pengguna tidak ditekan dari segi kenaikan harga. Okay.
The Prime Minister was met after visiting the Ramadan Bazaar in Putrajaya today. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDN HEP, has affirmed it will double its monitoring efforts on the prices of goods and food sold at Ramadan Bazaars nationwide throughout the fasting month. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalingi, said monitoring activities would be carried out in real time, involving 72 enforcement command centres, so that problems can be identified within a short time. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industries, MAFI, is targeting about 80,000 hectares nationwide to be cultivated with grain corn by 2033 to meet the growing domestic demand. According to its Deputy Minister, Datuk Seri Ahmad Hamzah, this could help reduce the country's dependence on imports. Datuk Seri Ahmad said the move was being taken upon realizing the high demand for the animal feed component, as well as the sharp increase in prices in the world market, which had various effects, including on the current chicken price. He said the cultivation of grain corn has also started in suitable areas in several places, such as in Melaka, Perlis, and other states.
Dan pada ketika ini kita memang mencadangkan dan mengalu-alukan penyertaan syarikat swasta untuk sama-sama terlibat. Dan nampaknya ada kemajuan kerana beberapa syarikat telah menunjukkan keinginan untuk mengambil bahagian.
Commenting further, Datuk Seri Ahmad said that through the National Agro-Food Policy, the ministry also took systematic measures, including conducting research through agencies such as the Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, MARDI, and others to find alternative food sources. Tenaga Nasional Berhad's TNB wholly owned subsidiary, Vantage RE Limited, has completed its acquisition of a 100% stake in a 97.3 megawatt onshore wind portfolio in the United Kingdom from a number of funds advised by Capital Dynamics for £145.9 million. This acquisition, following TNB's maiden venture into the UK offshore wind market last October, marks another significant milestone in the national utility company's strategy to grow its global RE portfolio while strengthening its presence in a focus market. TNB President and Chief Executive Officer Dato' Baharin Din, in a statement, said this acquisition represents the continued success of TNB's strategy execution to expand its RE portfolio while accelerating TNB's journey in delivering its global environmental, social and governance ESG vision. He said the strategic acquisition of additional operational assets that were underpinned by subsidy regimes would also allow TNB to fully benefit from stable revenues and build financial resilience to weather the economic challenges aggravated by COVID-19. In addition, it will move TNB a step closer to transitioning towards a new energy future of low carbon generation consistent with its sustainability pathway and overall ESG vision. Proton Holdings Berhad's sales grew 41.2% month-on-month MOM in March 2022 to 13,028 units, equivalent to a forecast market share of 19%. Now, the company said Proton X70, Proton X50 and Proton X Zora retained leadership in their respective segments last month. For the first quarter, ended March 2022, the national car maker saw its sales falling by 18.6% year-on-year to 26,706 units due to a series of challenges such as the floods, which had affected local vendors, disruptions in logistics and chip shortages. However, Proton in a statement today said it managed to capture a market share of 17.5% in the first quarter, allowing it to claim the number 2 spot in the nation's automotive sales ranking. Although March 2022's sales recorded a YOY decline of 13%, sales of the Proton Saga, a model that was severely affected in January, hit 6,422 units in the month, registering its best performance since November 2013. On export sales, Proton exported 794 unit vehicles in March 2022, recording the highest number in 108 months, with Pakistan being its biggest export market at 690 units in that month. It was not the kind of ending Wan Arif Wan Junaidi and Muhammad Haikal Nazri hoped for, but the national men's doubles pair believe they can emerge stronger after being floored by COVID-19 at the Masters Orleans in France yesterday. It was a bitter pill to swallow for the Malaysians, who will now switch their focus to the Hanoi SEA Games next month.
Dah tu mesti ada sebab dah sampai final kan. Nah, tu yang buat down sikit. Tapi benda ni saya pun reda apa yang dah jadi. Tambah-tambah lagi ni bulan puasa kan. So mungkin ada hikmah kita nak bagi dekat next tournament ke yang lagi besar.
Wan Arif shared this sentiment, saying they have decided to move on from this unfortunate episode and would turn their attention to the SEA Games. The young Malaysian pair had to concede a walkover to Ruben Gil Thies van der Ligt of the Netherlands after Muhammad Haikal was confirmed COVID-19 positive just hours before they were scheduled to play in the final. Wan Arif hails from Terengganu while Muhammad Haikal is from Kelantan. And the young pair, nicknamed the Patah Timur Boys, had been on course for their first title this year before COVID-19 struck. The unseeded pair, ranked 103 in the world, created several upsets on their way to the final, including beating 2 home pairs, Eloy Adam, Julian Mao, in the semi-finals, and world number 30, Christo Popov and Toma Jr. in the first round. News at 10 in our top story, no toll hike for 4 highways in Klang Valley. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm Brendan Nepal and it's lights out. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM. Salam keluarga Malaysia and have a pleasant evening. Take care.